welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be talking about my mid-year reading progress. So I like to make this video in the middle of the year. I know it's just gone the middle of the year, but you get what I mean. To check in and just talk about where I am with reading, and mostly these videos are for me because I can look back on them at the end of the year and just sort of see where I was and what I was doing reading wise, and then it just kind of helps me think, what do I want to do with my reading from now on and what my plans are. And also I can talk about my current favourite books, so my favourite books of the year so far as well, to see how that changes from the end of the year, and then just have a chat with you, and you can leave your current reading progress in the comments, and it's just a fun time. Currently so far, according to my Goodreads, I have read 37 books in 2017. I was going to say in July, that would no, in 2017, which I think is more so than I had read by this time last year. Basically, at the start of this year, for those that don't know, because a lot of people have joined my channel just this year and you may not follow me on all social medias, I have been doing a thing on Instagram called hashtag 365 days of reading. So I post a picture every day, pretty much every day, with the hashtag 365 days of reading to show what I am reading that day and what I have been reading, and I'm not allowed to post the picture until I have read a particular part of that book, or I've done some form of reading that day. It doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a different book every day. I think the last 2 months have literally just been the first 4 Harry Potters because I'm currently making my way through them, but it is to show and to encourage myself to make sure that I read something every day. Last year I was probably in one of the biggest reading slumps ever. I don't think I read anything properly from June till kind of August, September time. It was a couple of books and it was just not what I'm usually like with reading. And last year I set my reading challenge as 100 books and I barely read anything. I felt really pressured and I just didn't feel good about reading. When this year started, I set my reading goal as 50, but I've not been sticking to it, as in I have to reach it. I've just been doing this. I'm going to read something every day, whether it's a page, whether it's a chapter, whether it's a book, you know, it doesn't matter. But as long as I'm reading something, and I've been documenting that, and I've not really been paying much attention to the reading challenge. 37 is more than I thought, but it's been working because it's just been kind of giving me that little time every day to read something, but not the pressure of kind of I have to get 100 books done this year. It's just kind of like, you can read a page and that's okay because that's today's reading day and that's totally fine. And I basically just took the pressure off myself to do that, and I feel like that's really helped. I have been a lot better with reading this year. I felt a lot more comfortable with it. I felt a lot more like I don't have to rush books and that I can just take my time with them. I've felt like I don't have to get them all done because even though it says 50, that's just basically so I can document rather than it being like an actual target. I feel as though I can DNF books. That's been a big thing this year. If I've not liked a book, I've not wanted to finish it because I haven't liked it, and I'm not going to waste my time reading something that I don't like. Just like generally overall feel a lot better with my reading progress. I'm really happy with 37 books so far. That's really good and I'm really happy with that, and like I said, that's more than I thought because I haven't really been paying much attention. I've just kind of been reading what I've wanted to be reading and just putting them in Goodreads once I finish them. I'm really happy with my current reading progress. I feel like I'm more comfortable with what I'm reading. Like I said, I'm currently rereading the Harry Potter series and I'm on Goblet of Fire at the moment. At the time of making this, I'm starting Order of the Phoenix very soon. I haven't been rushing them. I haven't felt like I've had to get them all done. I think I read kind of 2 books in June, 1 and 2 and some of 3. I finished Prison of Azkaban in July and then started Goblet of Fire. So, you know, I just don't feel like I have to be rushing books as much, and I can take my time, and I find I enjoy them a lot more if I take my time, and I also feel like I get a lot more out of them if I take my time, which is really good. So yeah, so I'm feeling pretty good about my current reading progress. I had a mild reading slump in kind of April, May time because I went from a big transition of fantasy to a random crime novel to then trying to go back to other ones, so that was a slight slump. But other than that, it's been good progress. I thought I would quickly as well talk about my top favourite 7 books of 2017 so far, because it's been 7 months and it's not necessarily a book a month because some of these are read in the same months, but I thought I would just discuss them. So we have the Lunar Chronicles, which was the first books that I actually read this year, so I'm just going to group them together. I love them. They are sci-fi retellings of fairy tales, and the first one is called Cinder, which is Cinderella, and they all tie in and they're brilliant and I love them so much. Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda, which is, I absolutely loved. It is a contemporary and it's about a boy called Simon who is gay but is not out yet, and his messages to this guy that he's been talking to get seen by someone, and it focuses on kind of coming out and all that stuff, and it is amazing. Our Own Private Universe by Robin Talley, which is about a girl called Akai who ends up going on a kind of retreat to a different country over the summer with her church camp, and she meets a girl there, and it's exploring her bisexuality and growing up and coming out and family and relationships and all that kind of thing. This book was brilliant. It touched upon some topics that some YA books don't even go near, like safe sex and stuff, which is really good, and just talked about so many different things, and I love this book. Then we have 7 Days of You by Cecilia Vaness, which is about a girl who is about to leave Japan, which is where she's lived. They're about to go back to America, but on her last week, this guy that she kind of has had this sort of unfinished business thing with ends up moving back to Japan after he moved away. So it's those last 7 days together and sorting things out and kind of figuring out what went wrong and what actually happened. Then we have The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, which is a book which was influenced by the Black Lives Matter movement in America. It focuses on a girl called Star who was in the car with her best friend while he is shot by police. Wrongfully, he shouldn't have been shot by police, and it's the aftermath and everything that happens. This book is very real, very raw, deals with some very, very like truthful things that I feel as though everyone needs to read, everyone needs to learn about, and everyone really, really, really needs to understand these things, and it's just absolutely amazing. There's an author's note at the back of the book as well, which I would definitely recommend reading. Then we have The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli, which is, she gets 2 on this list so far, which is about a girl called Molly who has never really been in a relationship, and then when her twin sister Cassie gets a new girlfriend, someone kind of comes along with that, but then she also meets someone at her work, trying to figure out first relationships and crushes and what's going on and actually having feelings for people, and it's really good. And then we have Lord of Shadows by Cassandra Clare, which is the 2nd book in her Dark Artifices series, and it's the most recent Shadowhunter Chronicles novel, and of course I loved it. So those are the books, my favourite books so far of 2017. As my current update of my reading progress, I'm really happy with it. I feel like I'm reading books I'm actually really enjoying rather than just trying to force myself to read loads and not liking them. I just feel much better in kind of my ability to judge, am I gonna like this, or when I'm reading it, shall I finish this because is there any point? And I just feel much better about my whole reading life right now, and I feel like 2017 has actually been the year, so far anyway, where I felt a lot more comfortable and really got back into my kind of reading mojo, which is good. I'd love to know your 2017 reading progress so far. What are your favourite books? What have you been reading recently? How do you feel? What are you planning to do for the rest of the year? For me, for the rest of the year, I have a lot of series. I made a whole video about a series I want to read this year, which I'll link down below, which I really want to try and get through once I finish Harry Potter, because I want to make my way through as many of them as possible, because they've been on my shelf for ages, so I would like to get through them. So what are your plans for the rest of 2017? If you're new here, I make videos a couple of times a week, so if you would like to stick around and join us, then you can do that. And as usual, all my links will be in the description below if you would like to come hang out with me on other social medias. Thank you guys for watching. I hope we're doing really well, and I will see you next time. Goodbye!